달 이내. 저는 아직도 이 집의 수업 방식을 고민하고 있습니다. 그러니 매일 밤 레온이 걸려있는 골목을 쏘다니며 골몰하고 있죠.
Hey, look at all the people with hats. Did not get either of those, but I did. Okay. Where? Go. Oh. Hold on. So, I'm gonna need. Is this the right one? Let's go. Which team was like this? Go with this one. Oh, right. Excuse me.
불완전하더라도 지령을 끝마쳤다면
So that means he doesn't get his heal as long as you have somebody else healing. Yeah, not too bad. Mixing mana. Yeah, and the one. I don't have this thing. Oh, I didn't level that up. There. Put some of these in here, but I don't know what to do with that. Okay. Bridges. Consultation. No, wait. For this one, we should go about it like... No, he has been in the vanguard for too long. I should pull him back and let him down-type. No, oh, sorry. Did you say something? I provide you with an answer to your question, but you exhibit no observable response. This is as soon as common performance determining manageable parameters. No, things aren't that bad, but it's just hard to focus on one conversation when trying to support battles happening in the places at once. On top of that, Rio's shopping chattering is starting to get a little distracting. 2 days after we entered Incorp's district, the bus pulled over in the back streets of Incorp to take care of a distortion case. This contract was supposed to be handled jointly with the LCD team, but distortions suddenly started cropping up all over the area in black streets called Butler Street. Wonder what's called Butler Street. Without any coherent pattern, no obvious points of sign of origin or route of spread, nothing convenient like that, and I had no choice but to split the centers up into several groups and send them out. Ishmael, Sinclair, Dunkeely, and Mersault were on their way to rendezvous with the LCD team. Because of the were suppressing distortions that had showed up from other directions. And with our onboard stock scraped down to the bottom, the other Rishu who had done with their share of suppressing work then started buying supplies for the bus. As for Foss, she decided to stay behind with me on the bus, so I wanted to get through the consultation sessions I've been putting off and thought I might as well get myself some much needed practice with handling the new gun bro power effort. To reiterate, there are no issues requiring actual concern regarding Faust. It's true that Faust has, on several recent occasions, expressed dissatisfaction with certain Faust. However, those issues should be classified as a mere personal grievance. I mean, that's good if that's all there is to it, but this is not the first time Faust has seemed unlike herself. There have been times before when she spent far longer known than usual, lost in thought, moments where she could not produce immediate answers to questions from the other sinners or me. Could it be you can't access the Gestalt? May I ask your basis for this? Because you're acting a lot like you did back on the warp train. It appears there are certain occasions in which you are still capable of surprising Faust, don't they? So I was right, you really are caught up from the Gestalt. That was not intended as a confirmation of your conjecture. Maybe she's saying, well, she can technically access it. It may not be that she can't. I wish I could ask more and get to the bottom of it, but the way she was sidestepping the subject told me that prying wouldn't give me any further insight. Right, I wouldn't press it if you don't want to talk about it. Your reserve is appreciated. Shall we move on? Yes, your consultation is the next agenda. After cross-referencing the records pertaining to the recent event of the House of Spires, it would appear that the memories concerning the individuals designated as Sora and Ren currently remain only with you, Dante. And as such, should the influence of Ryoshu and their sword lead to further omissions in the official records, the manager will be responsible for supplementing the necessary information. Yeah, not the first time I was the only one left with intact memories, huh? That's right. Despite K-Corp's memory wipe procedure, Catherine's erasure by the Golden Love's power, and Arya Shaki severing people from existence, I was the only one who remembered what had transpired. But ironically, though the memories I had prior to swapping my head with this clock still showed no sign of returning. Why won't my own memories come back, though? Is it because of this clock head? Speculation based on your experience with the bus thus far will not meaningfully contribute to the recovery of your former memories, manager. Inductive reasoning conducted for memories with gaps, after all, is bound to have structural limitations. Bongi would serve as an adequate analogy. Bongi? Yes, Bongi. Retrieving feed and increasing in body mass alone would provide it with no meaningful basis for identify the purpose of its rearing, even at the terminal stage. When exposed to kitchen instruments in the heat of the stove, its limited experience would prove inadequate to constitute an understanding of its ultimate fate and purpose. Likewise, the ultimate answer to your doubts can only be obtained from the whole of the experience that you will have accumulated at the terminus of the entire journey. That is, your allotted mission. Because treasure awaits at the end of the road, at the end of hell. And that treasure will give me back my memories in my head also. Indeed, at the end of the road, you'll be able to engrave your aspect. I still don't know exactly what aspect means, or even whether it's an object, but I know one thing. That it's from the me from before all this began and had wanted it badly, obsessively, desperately. It's more like instinctive knowledge, but my memory's gone. The feelings, however strong it is, does not change the fact that it's just another word with no discernible mental image. And you're not going to tell me what it actually is, are you? The aspect. What it means or why I wanted it so much. If it remains a piece of information that must be disclosed to you, then no. I am unable to tell you. Pay it no mind, you are still following your star acceptably. Please concentrate on the journey. More importantly, have you grown accustomed to the incomplete power? Current observations suggest that you have yet to arrive at that level. Well, I've gotten pretty used to focusing on one place at a time, but keeping track of several places at once is still a bit rough. Rio's team is doing well in combat even without my direct supervision, and Rio's team is shopping and not engaging with. Taking my mind off of them would prove much easier, but that wouldn't give me much needed practice, so I'm doing my best to keep an eye on every single status. Sufficient familiarity would result in substantial tactical value. You'd be able to cast a wider net when information gathering and employ previous unavailable tactical patterns. Right. Whoops. Right, and also be tell when it's a bad time to call someone in too. Even as we continue with thoughts, make sure not to stop observing the places where each group is and what they're doing. Yep, pulling Heathcliff to the rear was the right call. I don't see any injuries. His team's still doing well, even without my direction. As for Roya, wait, did she just stuff all of the pastries and the bread she bought into her pockets? How'd she manage that with a huge baguette? And this group, let's see, looks like they joined up with the LCD team without any issues. LCD, then the guy over there must be, hang on, boss, there's a dude I've seen before, but he seems a bit different from what I remember. Could you specify the issue? I'm moderating the situation right now. We should probably join up with them too. It's in the consultation here. It's rather precipitous, Dante, if the incident is of serious nature, perhaps request for support from the LCC. No, it's not an incident. So I wouldn't say it's not serious. Then I'm like, what? What? Do they look funny? Wonderful. Sorry, this is going from bad to worse, really. Dante seems to be tied up helping the other groups. Those command calls have been working out well enough, I'll give her that. We've managed to hold the line better than expected, but we're definitely starting to feel the strain. It's like, what? Why are you waving your hand all of the arm and hand signals? Wait, what signals? You're swinging side to side is supposed to mean? You don't know? It's scatter, damn it. So scatter. Crash. That was so close, we almost got flattened. Look, we're using nothing but the most rudimentary military training would have recognized a hand seal that basic. Well, we're not all trained military soldiers here, are we? Barely. The flourish of a single hand doth indeed make a chivalric elegance. Yet when thou suddenly wavest thy arm about, clenching and unclenching thy hand in a mythical fashion, only to suddenly turn tail, forsooth, I am left bereft of understanding of thou meanest to say. I think that all personnel in the team, only the Swabby has this split in to a basic field signal. Oh, to be fair, I wouldn't know what the signal meant. Only pick it up during my sailing days, and realistically, do you really expect ordinary people like the others to understand professional military signals? This is unacceptable. After all the operations, all of you have been deployed under my lead. You're still ignorant when it comes to nonverbal signals? I don't think even Nante knows what the signals. Yep, might as well be swinging players, literally. Let us appease our agitated heart and follow Miss Otis' instruction. We would disperse and withdraw. Megaton landing! Hey, pretty cool, huh? Let's face it, I know how to make one heck of an entrance. Well, aren't you supposed to be cleaning up the distortions upstairs? Oh, we need to a million years ago. You guys were taking forever, so I figured I'd take a peek and lend a hand. You're welcome. Split by your thundering descent, the floor's form and shape are now crushed beyond mending, sunken deep enough like into the incipient of the wellspring. Yeah, don't you worry your head about it. That's all after team to take care of. Anyway, what should be all of them, right? Unfortunately, I neutralized the last distortion is outside the building. Great, can you check on the distortion peeps' face and claws? No, their faces are segmented, makes my skin crawl, not a pleasant sight. As for their attire, this one appears to be a sweeper. That one yonder bears the attire of an ordinary fixer. And the distortion land, probably a local resident, judging by the clothes. Did any of you happen to see anything bursting with a big pop and flash? Nay, not once. Okie dokie, you know what? Then let's all head upstairs. this expression request is kind of a pain. We'll need to put together a neat plan before we start poking it too hard. A plan, sayest thou? How? Was it not a mere matter of the slaying distortions where they stand? Wait, did nobody brief you? This has often been the structure of our assignments. We're given instructions, we perform them, and only afterwards do we begin to perceive the nature and contour of the task to which we have committed our hands. Really? Well, I guess every department has its own way of doing things. No big deal. I'll explain everything once we're upstairs. Oh, by the way, you didn't get to meet the whole team last time, did you? Only our new girl. This time, that dude, I mean Mr. Bamboo. Had Kim's also here, so... Huh? He's okay now? Huh, sure he is. He'll be surprised to see you, and just how okay he is now. But last time you said he was still under treatment. To be precise, I believe Miss Ingdu stated that his mind was yet to regain its former tranquility. That. Oh. You'll get it once you see him. I feel like we'll end up having the same conversation twice if I say anything about now, Creek. You have arrived. It's blinding. So bright. The midday sun is pouring in like crazy. Yet the warm tickle of the sunbeam is rather agreeable. No, this is not sunlight. Because like there's more to the sunshine than its warmth. And what exactly is this light? Why is this thing on again? Bright enough to fry my eyeballs. Apologies, Lady Ezra. I am yet accustomed to this machine. This is my first time laying a hand upon the complicated working of such a contraption. It activated on its own accord, and I have yet to discover the method in which it may be silenced. That's why I told you to leave it low. Fiddling with things you don't understand usually ends with something or you broken. Nothing good comes of it, I tell you. But Mentor, Lady Moses has instructed me that in every movement and event, clues are hidden under the veil of one's surroundings and must be examined with care. Yes, and that's only works if you're saying, see about the knack. Hang on, did you say mentor? Then for the proper opportunity to him to you. This here is the esteemed leader of the Blade lineage, who is the but master under whom I have a... You really have to dress it up like that? I told you I only took on the role because there wasn't anyone else around to take the job. Switch, where's the switch? Got it. Goodness. Known as Bamboo Hatted Kim. And yes, that's me. Yes, I should say, pleased to meet you, folks. Wait, what? There's two of them? Or is there? Here's for the inflection point. Okay, so more often than not, first impressions are prone. Him, I remember, was the man who drowned in his own fathoms, blaming himself for the powerless and listening to his heavy voice. That, however, seems had been he was distorted and sucking into himself, so I figured the ritual person might be somewhat different. But this is not just somewhat. Probably even the same ballpark as my expectations. You're telling me this guy here is Bamboo Hat Kim? Yep, we double checked with Ezra, and she says he is the real, they're the same guy. Whoa, dividing her head's not hot at all. Fascinating stuff. Can we check again, just in case? I really can't wrap my head around the fact that this is the sullen, serious man just look at what he's doing. He's rubbing my face all over like he's checking out some kind of mantelpiece ornament. Lots of ticking and talking going on. It's supposed to be a sound like I'm talking to you folks? Further confirmation would be redundant, Dante. The image is conclusively identical to the one designated as Bamboo Hat Kim. I've got an idea what you folks are so suspicious about. And just what exactly have you been telling these people about me? They're all staring like they've seen a ghost. I told them you are a gallant and formidable warrior, Mentor. But they don't look like they've heard the most flattering things about me. There, don't you hear it? The faint undercurrent of disappointment in the ticking. Sigh. I also told them that you are a man of few words, but with much affection for the followers under your command. You do. Yes, Mentor. That's a complete and utter lie. Man of few words is definitely not something you can say about a man who's as talkative as me, don't you think? Yet I spoke no falsehood. Although your conduct is rather shallow and perhaps less refined as a leader of an organization, You are much more reserved and taciturn when conversing with those unfamiliar to you, are you not? No matter... Oh god, it's long. No matter who one may be, one is bound to inspire either approval or disapproval from those around him. Do I refrain from mentioning a truth that might invite the latter? To even hint or anything that might tarnish the reputation of my master would not be unlike spitting on his name and mine by extension. I simply have no reason to put on airs in front of my own folks. In any case, oh, so you see anything if I block this part, Do tell, how many fingers am I holding up? Those are not my eyes, you know. Your own folks, huh? Then you have already acknowledged and accepted that you now belong to the Olympus Company. Why didst thou not pay a visit to the LCE, verily? When one's mind is plagued by the substance of tranquility, rushing forth into the open air and touchable field of grass cleareth the storm of the heart. An asset of the company, expect to act in the company interest, yet for some reason I didn't see you fighting on the field of battle during Operating Spider Pyre. You'll have to account for your absence in the mission. Oz addressed Kim as though she were conducting a formal investigation, every word flat and hard. It was obvious she was not about to let her guard down anytime soon. What mission? Oh, that one. Kim finally seemed inclined to assume more serious suspicion. He stepped, peering into my face and turned towards us, although his hand was still on my head. Alright, clearly there's some disconnection and explanations here. Listen here, you. I'm really not all about hard, bothersome work. Get what I mean? Real disconnect was between his stoic expression and the words coming out of his mouth. What? Let's talk about the kind of fellow I am. Meet the reticent layabout who's forced to do his job with a frown, too. I might add, only when he's got absolutely no choice. I really got some big shot ain't. You've apparently been running us folks. And I'm very much like to stop getting roped in the stuff that keeps putting my life on the line. Fine then. Then why did you join the LCD in the first place if you'd rather be employed? No, never mind. They probably forced you to stay. You catch on quick. First, spout this nonsense about the source and all, and then force hire me, calling me a company-owned resource or whatever. And the other day when they were about to get on about, what's his name, Gun Bo, yes, they invited me on a tour of another part to listen to some important presentation. And I accepted. I thought it would be fine. Opportunity to broaden my perspective. Thing do there. There are times when your commitment to duty shines brighter than the sun. I find that attitude so dazzling that I have to squint when I'm looking at you. Who knows, maybe that's why I'm wearing this bamboo hat to shed my eyes from your utter brilliance. You mean to say that you're indeed of a shield to protect your eyes? Hey, Ezra, I said I supposed to request for a pair of sunglasses for my mother. Only if it's not too much of an imposition on the budget, that is. A little bit. That right there. That's what I keep telling you not to do. You can't just say yes to every silly thing he says and turn in a supply request. Small expenses add up a lot, you know. You gotta shave up everything you can in the pig bit while you still can, or you'll end up broke. Is there truly no room for reconsideration? No means no. Then pray make the purchase for me. I shall cover the cost myself. No, and what? My poor mentor is in state of great discomfort. The other percent neither wisdom nor the knowledge to navigate this little tongue of merchants in the maze of souls to locate the very best items. So I beg this favor of you. You're giving me a frickin'... I'm aware that you and yours are no strangers to such dealings. There's no one else I can trust to complete such a procurement with such swiftness of the wind. So, and you know what? Never mind what I said. I'll just get you what you want. You heard the gentle lady mentor. Your suffering shall soon be alleviated. Right. My apologies for interrupting you in mid-conversation. Pray continue. You had reached the part where they invited you to tour another department. No sooner did Angela's word left her lips that her eyes glinted with something I couldn't really put my finger on, but it was strange intensity that sent a chill down my spine. Yeah, so that day I was gonna relax here and watching TV, but good on you for showing up for work today, I guess. Let's say there's a debt to be repaid. At least you understand that we are indeed indebted to the company. Yeah, I suppose. Jim's gaze lingered on the head of his prosthetic arms as he answered. Oh, Miss Singh-do, your arms. Only after calling Kim's gaze did Sinclair seem to notice Angela's brand new prosthetic arms. Yeah, they got busted up the last time. Last time we saw her and you both lost both her arms. I remember Ezra asking her to sit tight and choose the type of prosthetics she wanted. Those arms are ripped, probably. Not just the arms, even her clothes are different now, and that sword. I had these arms fitted with the new as soon as the operation was concluded. The gracious host and one of the else team had prepared them in advance. With evident satisfaction, Indu held up her dark metallic wrist to showcase them. The components fixed together, one click round, and folding for a moment, burningly holding back into place. Ooh, just graceful smoothness. What machine articulation! 'Tis as though I am beholding the marvelous prosthetics of the illustrious Siegfried himself. Yep, the showcase went gone lackluster with a trademark reaction. Those are strikingly similar to Schwartz Interlude N7 lineup, but I thought the model was discontinued. No, not theirs. It's one of the prototypes developed by LCD's Phenomena Deciphering team, and they put them on for trial. Doubt you'll find another like them. They're based on technology spun from distortions. Oh, I see. For a brief moment, Claire's eyes lit up as if he glimpsed something that brought him back to a memory. Then he just as quickly fell silently whenever he wanted to say next catching in his chest. There's something troubling you, Master Sinclair. It's hard to understand what struck their memory for Sinclair White cast shadow over his face, but sorry, it just reminded me of something from a long time ago. My dad used to work prosthetics before he passed away. I thought this was the exact same model I saw back then. It appears I lack tact. These arms have stirred a painful memory within you. For that, I apologize. Nah, it's alright. I'm fine now. This carried a tremor, but beneath it was a firmness that had not been there before. He really had grown a great deal. Still pussy until he changes into his other self. You can thank yours truly for picking the sword. I was there with her. I didn't inform later that any blade that could serve as a weapon was fight, but she's instead. It's just that I'm browsing the goods. I just say I was given the opportunity to lay eyes on every type of sword. A good hope is he in this life. Walking through the workshop street that day. Oh, please, girl. You walked for just 4 hours. That's nothing. Well, everyone was distracted. They used new outfit and equipment. They quietly slipped away from the crowd and crouched down in the corner. He was rummaging through things scattered around, picking them up. Is he pocketing them? Anyway, what is this place supposed to be? Where are all these things? Basically a wreck now, but those strobes and cloth backdrop where there maybe used to be a photo studio. Okay, that could explain why there's so many photos stuck around the place. Probably. This thing probably looks like a camera, at least. Pick up a small cylindrical object and turn it over in his hand, studying it curiously. What do you suppose it is? A battery, maybe? Oh, there's some kind of strip inside. Let me pull it up. No, that's... Oh, the shout of the sharp warning on Sinclair, as if she realized something. Bernard's hand shot out before Sinclair, clasping over Sinclair's wrist before the strip could be pulled out. Huh? What did I do? Exposure to the sunlight damages these objects. I already pulled it out a bit, though. It can be rewound. Carefully rotate the rigid section on the cylinder. I am currently blocking the sunlight from reaching the exposed section. Damages is of no concern. Oh, okay. You mean this one? This part that rotated? Yep, it went back in. With a quiet nod, I took the object from Sinclair's hand. Seems a roll of film. There was something really on the outside. Experiment 4. It appears to be a compact roll for a film camera. You seem to have handled one before. Yes. With no explanation. Results answer came without any further explanation. But the way he adjusted the camera on the table certainly didn't look like it was a first timer. I once received contained photographs taken on film cameras during the war. Film rolls used by ANCOP are particularly difficult to falsify. They were often used to collect intelligence during secret operation. The film fixes light directly onto the medium, from what I've heard. The peculiar expression flashed because as reflects she regarded others maybe as the mention of war that caught her attention. Anyway, we managed to regroup in one piece. Let's come up with a plan for this distortion, guys. Where should we begin? Then in the next breath, return to her usually bubbly self and steer the conversation away from the subject. Both Ezra and I are both still trying to free, misconception we've looked on ourselves. For all our unveiling perky disposition. Ezra, too, may have be carrying track matters every bit as devastating as Gregor's. Was there yet remain aught deserving illumination? Huh, yeah, wait, you're right. Haven't we cleaned up the distortion already? I couldn't feel any more traces of distortion in Bright, and it didn't seem like there were any other Sinner teams also were actively engaged in battle at the moment either. Dante is asking whether distortion suppression has not, in fact, already been concluded. Oh, not yet. These people just found out they only got caught up in distortion. They didn't actually distort themselves. They weren't even gotten close to distortion's inflection point yet. An inflection point. Anywho, finding an inflection point without team leaders. The round's gonna take some time, but maybe it wouldn't be too bad with your help. Ezra swept her eyes around the room and looked at frustration. As though she had been handed a puzzle box with half the pieces missing. By inflection point, are you referring to the point on the graph in which the directionality of its curvature changes? Calling to mind the present concept, it may be less a mathematical term, more of a specialized polyseme, polyseme? I don't know, polyseme. The point of which distortion occurs, the mode of the intent, or indeed which inflection of the mind occurs. Yep, that's about right. That's the kind of inflection point I was talking about. So, in our department, we use that term to mean the source of a distortion, the inflection or cause behind it, stuff like that. You know, distortion's hard to treat if you don't know the core cause. Treat the symptoms, you see on the surface, all you like, but you'll never find the root cause. The distortion's never getting solved. Though I guess you guys never really had to look at that kind of stuff, huh? The boss clock opens the door into their fathoms or whatever, right? You mean the dungeon of the fathoms. Yep, that's the one. From where I was at, distortion a really high maintenance, time-consuming headaches. It's one thing to somehow manage to locate the inflection point, but curing it's almost another thing. But you guys can just march straight into someone's heart, knock the snot out of everything in there, and ta-da, patient ready for discharge. That's how it works, right? Not gonna lie, I was a bit jealous when I heard about it. I almost bit my sleeve off. Really? I thought your team would set about this resolving the stores once the foe had languished, as we want to do. Was that not so? Of course not. Why would anyone come to us with a distortion suppression request if that were that simple of a first place? But yeah, most of the time, peeps try brute force approaches to it first, and then things go south. They said request look up the our detective's office. That means the client this time must have been bingo. Apparently, the residents of Butler Street had all chipped into commissions of all kinds of agencies like the SWI and the Combat Specialized Fisher, but none that could actually do things right, and the job got passed on to us. Meaning the distortion phenomenon related to this kind of photograph is still occurring unchecked somewhere on the streets. Exactly. And that's why we're going to find something, anything that might count as a clue. As we're getting down among the people lying for with a complicated expression. Neat gray ash suits, logo on the collar, and the uniform root is. Hey, isn't that Incorp logo? Come to think of it, wasn't Marcel? I was once employed by Incorp, huh? You used to work with us? Yeah, you did mention that you used to work, but maybe guys wasn't. Do you know who these guys are, Marcel? Yes, manager. These are Incorp Class 2 staff members. Given the cameras, briefcases, and the procession, they're like members of the pinframe team of service this close. Marcel recited the information as though he was pulling it from a file he had already sorted and packed back in the shelf inside. Okay. Pinframe team, huh? Anything you tell us about them? Yes. It is one of Incorp's more many field departments related to information gathering and processing. Their primary duties include handling of Incorp's internal information, analysis of Incorp's internal intelligence, and sorting and rating of Incorp's determination, and intersector. And that's enough. Whoa, is he talking encyclopedia or something? Yeah. Another thing to be jealous of. You think it'd be okay to borrow them sometimes? Might as well be an issue for us if you just went and borrow their team's encyclopedia. Looks like everyone agrees that he's an encyclopedia. Anyway, you're supposed right. They are on team. Seems a few of them. Seen them a few times before in Incorp's nest. But with people already busy enough dealing with nest affairs come all the way out here, shabby backstreet like this? Got any guess? I am unable to determine that. Nah. The possible range of connection between these two pieces of information is extremely broad. relevant reason as to why many have come here would require a considerable amount of time. Therefore, I will not present a determinative answer to the question. That just holes into me with unspoken insistence. Oh, we like this when pulling answers from me, you know? It's aside from comments, as I still haven't actually gotten a way to figure out what's going on in his head. Okay then, result. Maybe this would be easier. From an objective point of view, and that's why I know that's something I never imagined with that. Mersault's eyes widen, his gaze fixing me with such a force I can feel the faint tremor in it. The lovely state I came with, there was no such thing as an objective point of view. Manager. The clipped tone almost looked bordering on rebuke. A given judgment may seem infinitely close to objectivity, but ultimately, all things are subjective, with that exception. I fell silent for a moment, lost in thought. Part of it was because my reflection had caught me off guard. But I was also wondering whether the response might be connected to why he would always refuse to make judgments for himself. And if this has to do with his turn, which I know is just around the corner, got it. Then tell me 3 subjective reasons you think are most likely why these people had to come all these way to the back streets. I need to understand who he actually is as much as I can. Because I'll never know when I'll get another chance to really get to know him if I brush this off. But it's a simple, oh, I see, my bad, as usual. Yes, Manager. I presume their mission was one of the following. Retrieval of video recording or recording in violation of in-corpus taboo. Prompt elimination of the violator. Contact with the informant on the backstreets. Collaborating in the SS nest or identification and arrest of organisms designated by the nest. Taboo. You mean people could be taboo hunters? Nah, no way. Why they send taboos for every single violation, you know? Like, wings would usually leave mines for movement as been handled by the subcontractor, the fixers, or employees of the department in charge. I'd say these guys here are all in-court staff. Miss MD, why are you looking for in their pockets? I am looking for their belongings, for landing clues that can be hidden in the sleeve or folded in the garbage. Lamos is also gifted with the art of discerning the truth of what lies before her, but with a glance, but yet my eyes are faint foreign to such a feat. You may take a look. This is an employee card? Okay, that one's a wallet. Let's put it back. You don't want to be robbers? This might be it. It's an order missive. Federal approach to receive of any core staff's code and reads its contents. Work deal. Elimination of the individual Category 3 taboo violation at address Butler Street. This is the place, which means all this might be pointing to something. Whoever used to work in the studio and the distortion phenomenon might be connected. Now to mention it, when this whole pop and change thing happened, it did feel like a camera flash. Alright, let's start by combing through this place. Let me know if you find anything suspicious. At long last, that hour arrived for my view as a detective pursuit. Don Covey must have missed for not getting to play detective in Key Corp. No idea where she's been keeping them, but she immediately pulled out the detective props that had been given to Real Show Rishu and Hogloop. Who that's that? Barely. I had foreseen that the day would come. Fortunately, Ellis wasted no time on putting an end to Don Cho's highly timed snack. Sharp dressing down from her was enough to make our jagged Shiva Victor turn the custom way. Okay, we should get moving too. Da-da-da. Oh, now I get to a fight. Not deploy.
화점에 두지. 대사.
지령을
부름이라면.
여기는 LCA 선봉팀.
I think that should be fine.
줄 동화책은 이것으로.
It's been a long while arriving to the photo studio with the LCD team, but no one found any decisive evidence. There sure are a lot of photos around, but almost all of them are just pictures of buildings. Nothing much to tell from that. Aside from the canister containing the film scrolls Sinclair picked up, there's no remaining items here that can count as a proper clue. Executive Manager, I've confirmed that the rest are all empty plastic containers. Then it's probably best to check the contents of the film roll directly. Yes, Executive Manager, I will find a way to develop the film. You guys find any sort of photo development room or equipment nearby? Let's search a little more before we see what's on the road. Mentor, what do you make of this object? For the 8th time, Angdu, I have no idea. If I had wits enough to understand all the lies before me with a single glance like that team leader, I would have passed the royal examination long ago and secured myself a lucrative position as a court official. But Mentor, haven't you already passed the royal? Once swung, a sword does not retract its arc, Hongdu. So it is with life. There is no undoing what has already been cut. Thus it is unnecessary to dwell on what can no longer be undone. There is no after for what has been slashed away. Not for you, Mentor. Ought you not dwell on what can no longer be undone? I misspoke. I did not mean it that way, Hongdu. I really meant to say I do not wish to recall my past. I am aware. You have told me as much since long ago, whether you were placed in a position to retrace the past. Mostly at the eateries where you filled your belly on unpaid tabs. Each and every time you brought down the stone wall before our house by your own erring hand. Those are exactly the kind of things you should never forget. Ow, my belly. I feel a stabbing pain in my belly. This spot, oh, the very wound you once gave me afflicts me yet. The one from which you thought that you were poking me with your scabbard, yet with some cruel tone, it was your sword that ran me through. Mentor, you say it was completely healed, and that I did not continue to concern myself with it. Those very same words have been repeated at least 80 times. But it still aches every now and then, chiefly when I hear your sharp, cutting words that I really don't want to hear. Ah, is that so? Hongdu suddenly pulled out a sheet of paper and began furiously writing something down. What's this? I've written down the words that I have just said. If my sharp, cutting words afflicts you, perhaps reading them instead would cause no suffering. His face began to contort with a wet this towel being wrung dry. I really can't believe this is the same Hongdu follows so devoutly. Where's all the dignity and forbearance Hongdu said he had? Hongdu, there's a matter I might ask thee. Apparently I wasn't the only one that felt that way about him. Pray, speak freely. This may perhaps be this curious inquiry, but when speaking to the others of whom I serve, often ornaments my words with laudation of an acceptable degree, and yet I understand your concern, Lady Dunk. I suppose this is your first time seeing Mentor with its shoulders so unbraced and its bearing so loose. In truth, when I first beheld him, I almost wondered whether such a man could truly be a leader worth placing my faith in. However, upon my honor, I assure you that I have never once uttered a falsehood when I spoke of him to you. My respect towards the blade of my own and foes alike, my determination to safeguard what must be protected, even should my arms be torn apart. All these are undoubtedly the teachings that my mother has imparted unto me. Truly? Why, if fortune would grant that every day, you may witness Mentor's true self yourself someday. That is to say, if we let ourselves be carried by the currents of the river to arrive at such a chance. I do give her a prosaic arm and a casual sweep, smiling sincerely as though she truly believed every word she said. Then, leaning closer to Don Quixote, she whispered, Besides, unless I speak with this feigned stern ignorance, there would be no end to his digging in his heels. I would ask for your trust, for all is aimed at his benefit. Forsooth, thou too hast been burdened with the trials of serving your superior. So that's what it was. I get it now. Slam. Just as I went this feeling of the camaraderie, the door leading to that side was flung with the last one. We have arrived at the target location. It appears that advance party has already been defeated. Wait, who are these people? Didn't think there was only a single violer. Huh? Was it too late? This is not going to go out. The same thing happened last time. When I saw Uncle Rosetta, I thought we had the wrong intel, and all of a sudden, some flashed, though a stray person in the brain. Yeah, that was the same pop, and with my mind, I don't think I make as a soft murmur. Till even that came to a stop as her breathing. Oh? Take long for me to realize what was happening. Seeing it again didn't exactly warm my heart. When you saying, though Escort may indeed be passing through hard times, this alley was not quite so wretched in form, was it not? Is that right? It looks much the same to me. Ah, this place. Did we get teleported to Escort? No, it's not that yet. Though it generates a considerable potential boost. This is, I think I know what this is. This is a presence. I haven't been able to detect it just now, but sunlight was now surrounding us, saturated every corner of this place. Just really lower stone walls, trees spanning cold and grotesque form, the scene light, and even the air we breathe at this point to the scene of the phenomenon. This is the episode of the Fathoms. Fathoms being entirely out of distortion. There are completely different distortions where the N-Corp employees were just a moment ago. Exactly, manner, it's exactly it. This is what I was trying to explain. Richard pointed the people in smart needed suits had vanished, and their play clad in bloodstained dopo robes were approaching us and dragging uneasy steps. Right, let's fight first and talk later. Ready, Youngdu? My blade is poised to strike. Oh, wait, where's Bamboo Headed Dude? I'm afraid he has already taken his leave. He said he has something out across place with the Chun-Nu-Kuns of S-Corp twice. Come on, man, not again. He's a repeat offender, that's for certain. Except Major. We're on kidding on that. This definitely isn't the time to be asking trivial questions. Right, let's see what Ezra says and get ready for battle. On your orders, man, prefer battle.
카론, 기다리는 거 못해. 100초만 기다려줄게.
그대는 어디까지 각오했을지.
이거 공각 맞지? 야! 필살! 바이올렛! 브레이크 슬램!
그 슬픈 일기 헉 좋구려.
정해진 운명 결정. 해군. 초원 시령에게 불확실한 것은 없네.
These people have weird faces on their things.
예측할 수 없게. 그대는 친절하지 않아. 딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
6점.
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어.
하나.
쟤네 좀 속이 메스꺼워 보여.
시연합니다. 오롯한 검의 길에 한 걸음 더 가까이.
내 피가 배고파했어. 잘됐다.
참격!
그치? 대성공이야. 칼은 신나. 노래 부를까?
단단히 포기하지 마시게. 망을 쳐먹. 숨을 거두리라.
열라 열받죠? 이러면 아무것도
그냥
못하죠.
5배!
충정. 지령대로 움직일 뿐입니다.
우와, 칼음도 깜짝.
예측할 수 없게 운명적인 죽음일세. 미래를
움직일
과거와
뿐입니다.
같이
우와, 칼음도
포위망 구축.
깜짝.
다섯.
짜자.
느낄 수 있겠죠.
That should be all of them. Spraying the area with measured alert, undo cast the blood from her sword with a few sharp flicks before sliding it back into the sheath. Huh? They're not changing back, doesn't it? Look like beating up the storage ones reverts them immediately this time around. Perhaps the fortune turn events in the way. Let's search clues while we... Well, right. You take that side, undo. I'll search here. Adrenaline moved about as though they were used to this kind of situation, without even taking a moment to catch their breath after battle, they began searching the place. Really? Okay, was the first one to voice her doubt in this real and familiar situation we found ourselves. We battled distortions upon their arrival hither, yet never before have I beheld our surroundings changed with so sudden a flash. Really, I cannot make a sense of the decision. Cast out render a detailed account of this distortion phenomenon? Apologies, this pair I overlooked the brief due to the urgency of this predicament. This is, according to the definition presented by Lazyma's, a location type distortion. It's basically when the whole space gets distorted. And since spaces and buildings can't move on their own, the distortion gets fixed in a certain space. As for this one, looks like the distortion's already progressed pretty far along. Middle Street, probably. They don't usually get this big, but this one's here covering almost the entire street, even those people. They entered this space and got caught up in it, and our job right now is to find the bottom of the phenomenon. That's exactly what gets people caught up in what happens to the ones that ran. Of course, we can't really rule out the possibility of a power distortion that's encroaching upon its environment. Oh, I mean the distortion bleeds into the space around it and warps it. Oh man, I actually, talking like our team there rubbed off on me, I guess. As we continue with the sheepish giggle. In any case, we won't be able to suppress or cure the distortion even if we whip these guys asses 100 times. We need more clues to help us locate the inflection point. Maybe we should examine these people over here too. With the college, direct their attention to rows of class people around, all of them clad dopo robes, and these are glyph emblazoned upon their headbands. Chew bespeaks propulsion in pursuit. It marks them as Chunokuns, functionaries charged with scouring and hunting runaway nobis. You hail from the homeland as we do. I'm surprised that you know of them. I could hardly fail to know, for I, too, was once enumerated amongst their quarry. Scientists and technicians were daily being disposed of their stations in escort, after all. So, it was no idle tale. Sons who ply their craft without fattening these escorts' coffers were seized forsooth and made nobis of the corporation. Indeed, I count myself fortunate to have discovered with my friends before the band of Nobi could be impressed upon us otherwise. Nobi. The wretched appellant commanded by people of the convenience of those in power. A vile practice and excuse for using the use of their power-mongering nothing more. The so-called taboo hunters of Ethos operate by much the same anatomy. Does the breach of taboo summon the hunter, or the hunter first sees the prey for freedom to capture their invented tradition? With power so desire to chase a man down, to take their possession of the very being and keep him caged, they need only decree that she should bear the lot of the Nobi. Such is that Imscorp has become today. My aunt too was one of the victims of that cursed practice. And could these people then set out to capture your mentor or Yiseng? Or me perhaps, or none of us? You mean to say that they may be conceptual forms of Chungo generated by distortion. That is a plausible conjecture. We are getting nowhere with this clue hunting. The Everside Otis pressed her fingers against her brows as if her head was starting to pound in frustration. To delve further in the matter, it is necessary to determine why the S-Corp and its children have appeared as the motifs of this phenomenon. Considering the word and events that we've seen so far, would it not stand the reason that distortion stains all nearby things with memories most foul? The presence of children suggests a possible correspondence to Si Yang's memories. Conversely, however, the absence of T-Corp's timeline collectors weakens that hypothesis. In which case, the most possible theory is that this particular surgeon should have stemmed from Taboo Had Kim or Engdu's memories. Further, Brown fell into thought as though she couldn't grasp the full picture of the problem. I've seen a few distortions that show trauma or affect the surroundings, but this one I'm not getting that pop of inspiration. Can't even guess what distortion wants either. White flash suddenly around the vision again as Otis clutched her head and cried out with annoyance. If only Team Leader had cracking this would have been a piece of cake. Now we're back. So this is why you kept asking whether we'd seen any bursting with a pop. And corporate players must have a rough too getting dragged in distortion like this. I mean, what were we supposed to do? Self-defense. They were about to attack us. So I'm supposed finding the root cause and taking care of it would be the fastest way for it. Let's just do what we can for now. Okay, first we need to develop the film that we found here and head to the nearest dark room and not actually, let's drag that slippery hat wearing Colt back here and get him talking about the Chunga. That's probably our best. But every time we take a job, that slugger just slips off without telling anyone. As one part of me watched Ezra stamp her feet in frustration, I was carefully following Heathcliff on the other part of my vision. Oh, I think you can help with that. Have you located him? Huh? What? I found something? Found where Bamhoo Kim is right now. He's with the other people, and they're like, what the are you doing here? Why are you here?
승부수가 먹혀들었군.
Yes.
우리에게 있었다.
Oh, where are you?
때까지 이 기세를 잃지 않기를.
There were 10 turns, so I'm guessing I have... Oh.
전시 중
자유로운
복지팀
Sure, we'll keep with the same team for now until I find... Meanwhile, Heathcliff's team. Hey, hell, what's up these getters? Up out of nowhere. Actually, I know, but judging by the get-up, they seem like escort fellas. And things were going so well. We could have talked it out with those Fedora guys who were rummaging around the place earlier, you know? But no, you just had to go barking at them. We'll say that's a whole lot of trouble if you hadn't, right? Oh, so it's my fault. But it was like they were nicking stuff. This is our contract area, isn't it? If they walk off with something important, we'll be the ones catching hell. Listen, bud, not everyone's itching to wipe hair coupons into their pockets the second they get the chance. Oh, for how many blame months are you gonna milk that for? Excuse me? What, you got a problem too? No, not at all. Just wondering whether that gentleman over there is also one of our enemies. Is that the end of your true performance? Damn, I was really enjoying watching you folks dance. Might have mistaken this place for the Peach Blossom Land of Legends had there been a couple of by Makegoli to go with it. Yeah, that's an enemy, alright. He has a name tag. I think it says LCD. LCD, who gives a toss? Am I supposed to put up with every basket having a dig at me? Oh dear. Such a bold swing. Don't know whether that was a good turn or performance. You slippery little rat. Well, I do kind of find this amusing enough, but if you intend to play with me, you have to be more aware of your surroundings. Hey, behind you there's... Wow, he took out all 3 Dopo wearing hats with a single strike. I'd say that covers the price of the minutes of your troop circus, wouldn't you? Well then, I leave the rest of you folks. Wandering blades and Miram tails never linger on the stage for long after all. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Aw, damn it. Sock, stop running away! We're trying to do things.
뭔가 기분이 좋아 보이는 것 같아.
Okay.
기분 나빠. 기다리는 거 못해. 100초만 기다려줄게. 내피가 배고파했어. 잘됐다. 그치? 무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어. 승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
Wait, what?
내피가 배고파했어. 잘됐다. 그치? 대성공이야. 칼은 신나. 노래 부를까? 우와, 카론도 깜짝.
That's very weird.
우와, 카론도 깜짝.
They really like change the photos up, huh?
일타 2피 맞지?
Hmm.
스담해줄게.
Let me get this straight. Dude was here just a minute ago, and now nobody knows where he wandered. Yeah, look, just turned out nowhere, flapped his gums, and did a runner before anyone could grab him. So, well, long list of sigh, as though she was getting sick and tired of even complaining about Kim. Ezra, I cannot say your frustration is misplaced. Yes, I trust you are also aware that more often than not, Mentor's actions have been carried a profound design. He has never once left his post without purpose so far. No, I get it, okay, but come on. Would it kill him to give us a head up before he goes zooming off on his own again? It's not like we'd stop him. What are we going to do? Tie him up? Lock him in a closet? We don't do that in our team, right? Remember last time? We all thought he was going to be a good patient sleeping it off in the recovery room. But nope, when LCU got interested, he snuck out. Telling anyone came back like nothing happened. The team leader didn't even chew him out for that. Lazy Ezra that. Hopefully that wasn't supposed to mention that, was I? Then the reason he failed to participate in the operation was simply because LCU was lax in supervising his personnel. Is that what you're suggesting? Well, he must made us hold our tongues for this very reason. She didn't feel well, Mentor's intentions misunderstood in precisely such a manner. What part of how I misunderstood did you not disclose that the man deserted his post without authorization? That's the thing, he wasn't just wandering around, he was outside all alone, talking on the ring automechans who locked down the elevator. They were taking down the ring automechans who locked down the elevator that leads into the LCE department. Yeah, it's not like he was dealing with the strongest enemy out there, but the Crapper War didn't have an emerging alarm, and nobody from the department was there to warn him either. He's just someone got caught on and did the job himself. Huh. Here it's all thanks to him. The team manager to get comms back up between LC chief dudes way faster, and that helped LCA to actually deploy. They would have been delayed for another hour or two if it hadn't stepped in, apparently. And he fought even though he still wasn't fully recovered, so he came back looking like he'd been processed to the meat grinder. So yeah, he did end up staying in bed like a good patient in my opinion. Then Soldier's not entirely deserving of reproach. Nope, he's a less talking, more doing type, I guess. Anyway, we were all stuck in the building back then during the incident, so fine, I suppose there was no helping it. Today though, never mind. It's always like this with him. He always slips away and pops back in saying it's done. My point is, what happens in one day when the soldier doesn't go his way and he just drops dead in the street somewhere? How are we supposed to help him then? Actually, how does he even know what's supposed to be done in the first place when nobody gave him any instructions? Looks gotta be relying on his gut feeling in it? Gut feeling? Look, I only saw that block for a bit, so I can't say I've got him all figured out. He's an annoying bastard, but he didn't strike me as a clueless sod who doesn't know where he's stepping. Heathcliff scratched his chin and kept pockets like he's stating an obvious fact. Today's proof enough, though. He's not just one of us, so Clock couldn't have reached him from that far and sent him back to us, and there's no way he just happened to run into us just when we were about to get into battle in it. Then, well, it could be the book's got some stupidly sharp hail on him and piece things together. Could be that. But I've got these moments when I could get a flash of a gut feeling, however, if you call it. My boss in Matthew said he could hear the kind of shy too. He said, I can hear them gears turning, or I think I hear rats scurrying about. He do it. Things you couldn't make heads or tails of. Listen, there was this one time when we were expecting a life and death fight. Matthew says he can hear gears turning, walks into a round pub, starts throwing back drinks like he's lost his bloody mind. That sounds like someone who's lost his bloody mind. Back when I was on the ship, most sailors used to drink the barrel dry before battling whales to blunt their fear, only to stumble around the deck and fall overboard. Yeah, and boss could knock it back like a whale. Still, the point is, getting plastered right before a turf war is not the most sane people could call a good idea. Had a solid cross when we went stopping after him. I guess that turns out that pub was the secret hideout where the opposing syndicate was holed up. They were crowding around like for running their mouths about how they'd kill him and put an end to the dead rabbits. And that's when we came storming in and had them surrounded instead. Not a single one of them got away. We beat the bloody everlasting battle, and Bastard knew it would play out that way. Sorry, but that really sounds like Barstool bragging to me. You sure it ain't just a coincidence? I should think it was no mere chance. If you were saying so much, then surely this was but one of many among many coincidences. Is that not so? Yeah, every time Matthew pulled one of those stunts, I realized I'm growing bigger when I've kept working so nearly if it weren't a coincidence. It's like he is often referred to as an instinctive sense or experience-based precognition, more accurately an unconsciously process for which information accumulated in the subconscious and converted into sensible conclusions. There have been some extreme rare cases in which Heathcliff has demonstrated the ability to arrive at coherent conclusions at the fact that surprised even Faust and Furtherhouse. It appeared that he was employing a mechanism similar to a sixth sense, some people call it. Is that a compliment, or are you talking this out of me? But my method doesn't see fit to explain each step he takes. In all his past, I often find that no footfall of his was taken in vain. I would ask you to grant him a little time and wait. The weighing and shape of his intent may become clear. Though I confess I have also been concerned about him of late. His recent silence is far heavier than I have noticed in the past. To wait. Again, hesitated and stopped for saying she gave only a night. Yeah, okay, I suppose our team leader has her own reasons for letting him be. That said, doesn't mean I'm happy about it. Let's return to the task at hand and do what we can for now. Fine. Once the others quieted down, I finally had the room to notice that we found ourselves in. The signal wasn't really light and a red hue was pressing down on every side. Can't believe we turned away in the dark this whole time, fellas. The red lines aren't helping at all, especially with my age, you know. Oh, are you looking for a light switch? It's right there. And right then, don't turn on the light. I heard myself clip warning. His voice coming from the corner. I didn't quite fine. Rizal, where are you? Ah, there he is. That corner. Is he washing something? I am developing the film role, manager. Exposure to light might ruin the entire role. Please exercise caution. So he's been doing his own thing. Explains why he was so quiet. Huh, didn't think you knew how to print photographs. Well, What was that for anyway? You expressed the wish to have the film developed, manager. I'm carrying out that instruction. I see. Well, you still refers to now a darkroom. This may be no more than a conjecture, but it would not be unreasonable to suppose that the axis of this should rest upon the photographer. The film serial numbers either match those found in the photos to be or deviate by only a single digit. It is certain that the structure is connected to the studio in some way. The images bear striking resemblance to the photographs. I also believe the building and that photo also share a strong connection. Oh, where did you get those photos? I brought them from the photo studio. I can't name locations in this yet, though they all appear to have been taken various places in Incorp's buildings mostly. Hey, wait, I know what these are. People are taking pictures like this when supplying stuff to that department store. Correct. The photos must be taken by a docugrapher. Salt shining in an oddly cylindrical device in his hand at the time. He had to continue to shake every now and then with a measured rhythm, whether he was doing it. Film rolls are hardly affordable for the average resident in Corp. In most cases, taking photographs is done as part of his professional duties. There are approximately 21 occupations in this 14 that utilize for that. How only on this single profession involves routinely photographing specific buildings, adhering to fixed standards that can be observed in these pictures. And these docugraphers you mentioned are people entrusted with that job. Yes, they photograph the information to be poured into canned experience. A docugrapher? How could such a person delicately creative profession fall into distortion? Decent job, maybe, but how do we know if they're a decent person? Ezra replied with a quick answer after only a brief pause. What makes you say that? The studio, that didn't have any darkrooms, right? No, it didn't. My team leader said there were other ways of processing film rolls, but in NCorp you have to go to a darkroom to print them. Correct. Film rolls are usually immersed in the developer solution to be processed. Which is why photo studios have darkrooms equipped with red set lights next to them. But this place, it's pretty far from that photo studio. Yeah, now that you mention it, check out these windows. Only covered up by newspaper, all messy like. If you consider the sensitive these rolls are, super suspicious that this darkroom doesn't have any proper blackout panels. And you know films like kind of cost a fortune in some studies, right? When the right mind would print photos in a room patched up with yesterday's newspaper. Oh, this probably isn't even a legit darkroom. Someone just hauled in the bare minimum tools needed to develop film and threw them together in a hurry. Someone who don't want to be seen printing photos, and people usually avoid scrutiny unless they're doing something not so decent. If that's the case, then I can see why they might have distorted, right? Manager, change my sight quality, so give this to the occasional kid. I have a request regarding your instruction to develop this film. What is it? Please ensure that light in this room is not turned on until development is complete. Are we already doing that? Yes. However, engaging in battle opens the door to uncontrollable errors. This is why I have judged it necessary to make a separate request. Battle. There's no need for concern. I am capable of participating in combat while maintaining the development process. Wait, can you slow down? A battle, you say? Surely there must be a cause for you to believe so. At the photo studio, reinforcements arrived exactly 11 minutes and 34 seconds after N-Corp's print frame team staff were defeated. Detections based on the events thus far make it clear that the photo studio and the stockroom share some kind of connection. Furthermore, Senator Heathcliff, Honolulu, about N-Corp's print team in this very location. I hear footsteps rushing up the staircase, approaching closer. I have a feeling I know that Marcel is getting at, but I ask why, meaning that the initial rinse is finished. This process now halfway to the completion of the second agitation. This indicates 11 minutes and 30 seconds have elapsed since the start of the development. A battle is imminent. Please withdraw to a safe position, Manager. Marcel to you. You should have warned us earlier. Understood, Manager. I'll follow the instructions going forward. It's like, hey, you're going to fight again. I need to do this. Like, couldn't you have mentioned that before?
시연은 어떠셨나요? 소생은 나름의 소득을 얻었다고 생각합니다만 이들의 수급을 돌아가 주인님 팬.
Wait, I didn't get no fight? Thought there was going to be a fight. Oh, after the bout. You gotta shoot them. Something sits ill with me. The brawl escorts backstreet's distortion and green flash. Undo have her gaze fixed somewhere high overhead. At the end of her gaze, are those photographs? A long line stretched across photographs hanging from the clothesline. I mistook it for Kumju at first and gave it a little attention. Yet upon closer look, I saw those pictures hanging from the line. Perhaps they had been strung in the dark room and rained dust when the distortion took hold. Bizarre observation of unaffected elements in the space occupied by electricity to distortion is most irregular. Indeed, these items were born from the studio have already changed into the images of various sites at S-Corp. Yet these alone remain as they were. Let's take them down and check them ourselves. Yes, I was wondering about the line was having Marcel step forward and plucked a few photos from it, and the instant brought them to me. We heard another pop again in the bright flash. Oh, lights on. Good grief, the surgeon likes to change its mind, huh? Keep switching between S-Corp and N-Corp. Feels like getting caught in a flashback detonation. My whole audience feels tense and goes slack right after. The other senators were busy grumbling about the distortion and Southern Generals except for Marcel, who stood there in front of me with the hell on the sand. Oh, you didn't drop it? No. He gave his usual answer, then returned to his touch of the cylinder he'd been shaking. He took the film out of the container, flicked it off, controlled motions. Was it finally done? Wait. We're back where the light now on. Is it okay to take the film out? Yes. Exposure to light will not damage the film once developed. It's complete and the image is fixed. There's no cause for concern. That's right. I pressed the button too fast. Couldn't say I followed all the technical deals, but no cause for concern was all I needed to hear. Signing him from the I held up the photograph so I could take a proper look. So, see, you see anything odd in there, Manager Bud? There are people in them. People in the photos all look different from one another. If I had to pick one similarity between them, they all look cold and different. Yeah, that's the city, alright. Ordinary folks you'd see anywhere. These aren't like the photographs we picked up at the studio earlier. Are these kind of photos used to make canned experience? And what was that? The scenery around us seemed to ripple just now. I was about to ask Foz if she's also found strange in it, but I faded away soon enough. Perhaps it's nothing serious. Maybe it was just a spell of random vertigo. Is it possible we can use these I've got clock for it? No. Philip must have noticed that I was out of sorts for a moment because he seemed to pause on purpose before answering my question. No, I thought you said documents take photos that are put in contained experiences. Raw ingredients of pan spirits are handling exclusive by the Grand Megson Siphon. There is no known method for external parties to access them. What? Oh, I think I've heard of Can Experience, right? They're in high demand in other districts too, but the only brand stand up all the time is Grand Magin Synthi, another name of that. I remember some of my classmates bragging about trying them whenever exam weeks came around. Never had one myself, though. I can't really explain it, but something about them just feels kind of wrong. It's that popular, huh? Non-process-based content of Can Experience, known as experience matter, is supplied to reprocessing factories. These documents fine-tune the experience details. Photographs are primarily used for that purpose. They can fine-tune experience. An easier example for understanding would be considered why documents picture subjects as buildings. A purchaser may wish to experience living in a luxurious building they could not ever afford. Another may wish to vent out impulses of violence by experiencing the burning of expensive property. The demand of hot culture kind experience is increasing by day. And that's why the photos from earlier were all fancy buildings. Yes, manager. Conversely, information concerning ordinary experience can be easily encountered when reality is in low demand. Then why photograph these residents at all? Perhaps they were not images harvested for the commodity value, but for pure photography of the image itself. Perhaps they have been captured for a desire to seize a vanishing instant through the lens. There are people who take photographs knowing it would cause them to over some. I have seen some before. A certain amount of money just to take a single photo, that is, if they can manage to find a photographer who take the risk of helping them help take the picture. I'm not so crass as to put a price of cinema and nostalgia, but spending this much money on film rolls could have made this investment worth it. I'd say maybe this isn't just a matter of sentiments or memories even. Leaving through the photographs, I quietly expressed my thoughts. Pick your manager? I'm not exactly authority on distortions, but I know they manifest through desires or emotions that become warped in bizarre ways. But everything the distortion has shown us so far points back to S-Corp. That is, the S-Corp from the past that only Kim and I do with have seen and remember. These photographs, though, they're completely untouched by distortion. Doesn't that feel off? There must be a strong fixation at play here, strong enough to slip past even the distortion. And if that obsession is something that refuses to let these memories be influenced, I think our next step should be to look for the people in these photos. These photographs are the only undistorted, unaltered clues we have. Dante says it would be advisable to locate people showed in these photographs. Ah, good idea. Keener said that we should accept input from LCB with open arms. Hey, Engdu, can you get me the office tag-along? Catalog? We'll probably need to commission the office affiliated with 7th Association. Let's look for one that can take the quest right away. Can someone tell Ezra we're fine? I think I know where to find these people. Dante says one of the people shown in the photos has already been found. What? When? How? Well, I'm just having a lucky day. I pulled the radio from my waist and switched it on without answering answer. BWRC? I think you said, do we remote clock? That was one especially hard to understand, Roshu. Radio's with you, right? Can you put her on? Okay. Reality, you there? Yeah, what's going on? Want to talk? One sec. I kind of went overboard with bread and pastries. My hands are completely covered with pastries. What kind? Just one of everything. Neat. Actually, for sure, days. Both the ones on the street, they're so good. Hold on, I gotta readjust the pile if I want. Let's throw them on. Yeah, if they're packaged. Yoshi, you can't just throw them on the floor. Not treat food like that. Bread has, bakers have feelings too, you know? How do you think a baker would feel if someone treating their precious baby like trash? The scabbard is rattling again for no reason. Anyways, Dante, can you give me a sec if you need to fight? I just need to cram these into my pockets with. No, it's not a fight. What's this about? I took a closer look at words written on the brisker basket Mersault had brought me. Where's the bakery you're at? Oh. I know. Now I know who you're looking for. Alarm Bakery was a woman holding the liquor basket as the one in the photograph. She took a glance at the picture and held up. Quick nod. Man, he works at Cannery 17 right next. He's a regular. He used to drop by every morning to buy sandwiches and share it with his coworkers. Haven't seen him around lately, though. And those coworkers, I assume they're wearing the same uniform? Asking a question on my behalf, I would show the baker another photograph. Probably. He was always wearing one, too. I guess it's the Cannery uniform? This confirms our lead, executive manager. A few inquiries at the Cannery should bring us to the information we need. Yeah, you're right, but just as she doesn't seem very concerned at all, she's the one of the people in the photo that weren't affected by expression, though. But she'd be a close acquaintance. Allow me to verify, executive manager. Do you know the name of the regular you spoke of? His name? Am I supposed to know that? And though I wasn't expecting her to actually know his name, the evidence in her voice gave me pause. He took a photograph of you. Wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that you're well acquainted with him? Oh, that. Baker demeanor changed when I was pressed the point. She gave a strange and saddening smile before pulling something. A thin, round, can-like object. He said he'd give me 5 of these can experiences for free if I let him take my picture. He even said he'd throw in autograph of the building of my choice. He'd autograph buildings, right? I heard he takes work trips to the nest every now and then. So I asked him to get me to talk about this lovely mansion I saw by the nest suburbs. I don't know I'll ever get to afford a beautiful place, but this way I can at least experience what it's like. And gosh, it was something I never hoped for. Couldn't quite put my finger on it, but there was a distinct eeriness of this dreamy, blissful smile on the bigger's face that sent a chill down my spine. Young Marsault, are these county spirits truly possessed of such marvels to pluck all semblance of reason from one to counter it? They maintain high demand across the city. District 14 is only one of several markets. Does that mean that those who indulge in cannabis may experience venturing on an expedition to a great lake and bungee jumping off the summit of Rapper yonder as they remain seated where they are? They may, however. Oh, a magic can I wanted to pursue any dream. Rather confess my own sorrow as such that it differs from pursuing a dream. Mass-produced cannabis experiences are made from the base experience matter mixed with various modified information. The resulting end product enables intense stimulation through altered memory. Therefore, it's unlike a dream as expressed by Don Quixote. The piece of memory you find along the crossing stages of the cannabis projection line is not equivalent to genuine experience, meaning the usage of experience in her previous statement would also be amended. Memory is altered for intense simulation. That does sound quite shady. How does this cast shade upon the goons granted by the can? Adventures and tales are forsooth to glide towards a little grander. Or, what was that? Yeah, towards a little. Because the memories provided in the can experience are extremely vivid. The statistics have shown that the user cans interpret them as authentic experiences and become dependent on them. A possible cause for the information of dependence patterns in the canon experience allows one to feel as one has achieved the dream that is, in reality, impossible. So it's kind of like a drug. Without implying that the user may contend with devouring forged dreams stored in instant-use cans? Worse still, the user may no longer strive to chase dreams in the waking world. For the sweeter, the more splendidly a dream is embellished, the more impossible it appears to be grasped with one's own hand. Well, the cause for surrender, instead of inciting one to march forth, barely doth it not at all the significance of dreaming itself. If the result of dream is aroused, it's not the spirit to gallop toward it. Wherever that knows its significance, I cannot know. But they sell well. So how much will you be buying? By what? You came barging in with us and I was patient enough to answer them politely, wasn't I? Don't you think you owe me a sale or two? Not about to leave without buying a single loaf after crowding up my baker and scaring off my customers, you know. Her case... Actually, with our whole group gathered around, the passengers gave us the wide berth and hurried on, whispering among themselves in the way it was about to come in and buy bread like that. Come on, lady, I practically cleared your shelf already, didn't I? You did? Where the hell were you keeping all that then? You even gotta ask? Of course I had some already, and the rest is safely tucked in my coat pocket, so we can share later. So you already ate some. Let's buy some more. It's true we scared off the other customers. Understood. Give the expenses made to facilitate this often lack of prior budgeting should not pose a problem. Oh, nice. Sesame seed bun for me, please. You piece of crap. It was good. He really did have an act for making an entrance at the least expected moment. Hey, mister, where have you been this whole time? Wait. You cross with me all you like, but just give me a moment. Never pause, waiting in puzzled anticipation, only for Kim to take a sesame seed bun from them. Stand and chomp onto it. Alright, I'm ready. Freaking waste. The Reagan Bristol solar plexus, folding him to the ground like a crumpled sack of potatoes as he rolled away. And at this rate, the owner might start charging us for the whole bakery next, roof and all. Best get away from here. Manager approached me as we walked down the street, and Zedra and Kim still squabbling behind us. He was holding a roll of something brown and lightly coiled. I've completed development per your instruction. So, this is the film, the caster you were shaking? Do I just enroll it? Hold up against the sun for other stars light, as it is a reversal film. The image should be visible once they were further. I had no idea what a reversal film meant. It means it's going to be backwards. But I did enroll the film. Okay, I can see it, huh? That's pretty cool. Oh, it's showing, can I see too? Wait a minute. It's hard to see, but because it's small, the strip was packed in almost. This is the same person I ever shot. Is the same pose in all of them? Huh, you're right. No, wait a second. See the arm there? The further along the strip, the lower it gets. Yeah, and the head looks like it's turning to the right. Huh? We're all squinting at the tiny frame, suddenly flinched and went stiff like he'd seen something he shouldn't have. Secondly, all color drained out of his face. Claire, what's the matter? This reminds me of something I learned in school. You draw a picture in the corner of a stack of notes in a thick book in the exact spot of every page. You start with the arms down, you make one small change in each page, nudge the arms up a little until they race all the way. And you flip the pages fast enough, the drawing stops looking like separate images and still figure starts moving. That class was called Introduction to Motion Pictures. I remember the teacher saying the video footage we watched are all made the same way. Are you saying that this is a continuous sequence of still images? The arrangement of the frame suggests that this film shows highly likely can shoot footage, a violation of in-corpse taboos. Oh, great. I bet that's going to go well. Oh, it's a taboo. Great, we have this.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, crap. As I just held my hands reflected through the film to the ground. Are we going to be okay when I'm broken? You're right, it's rapid. At least we have Virgil's with it then, and it could end up not being a big deal at the end of the day since I could invite the sinners, but the next going to lose can guess the shit of us for carrying anything that has to do with them, can't they? There's many of whom would look as if the trouble as I felt. Still a few express a Cadillac, the sharing signing all the crazy things we've done together. Miss Foss, what will happen to us if the manager gets killed? Okay, so this is it, huh? Don't forget, guys, we're not all dying. You'll be fine. In-Corp's not going to kill you on the spot just for processing a film roll. Really? Well, it might be a problem. The film roll does contain genuine recorded footage, but it's not like you guys had a hand in filming it, right? When In-Corp gets here to pick it up, just comply with their commands, think them further stairs, and nicely hand over to the authorities, and everything should be okay. There's a possibility that everything will not be okay. Because I have developed the contents of the film in that role in that darkroom. Oh. The court will take the lack of intentionality into consideration, however, as I lack in my action will be by stating the primary violator of the taboo. Really? But team leaders in Corp said that their own regular standards regarding image quality, which they use to determine the severity of it. If the footage image quality or frame rate is within regular image, won't be sticking their fixers on our butts right away, but that could buy us some time to give our company some leverage to make a deal, however small it might be. Because what we're really sniffing around is how close to reality really is, or how close the experience is. So even if it were really, really unlikely and actually comes out, it's going to be fine as long as the footage is low fidelity, probably. What exactly does frame rate within regulations entail? Means the interval between each frame wouldn't be, like, super brief. Think about photo slideshows. The only ones take an image for a second, but it doesn't feel real or vivid, right? You can technically call them motion pictures, but there's no vividness required. Violate your taboo, then let us analyze the film roll and see how vivid it really is. Resolved, I trust you have the knowledge in subjects concerning NCORP, yes. Corporate, if this film roll be considered a violation of taboo, film roll and children. That cannot be determined, unless each frame is roughly analyzed compared with adjacent. Without waiting for Salt to finish, Otis unrolled the film and raised it against the sky. The rest of you get over here and just analyze these frames. The film culture was failed experiment, so I assume the culprit had created this as a test run of sorts. An experiment to see how closely they could get to violating a taboo and testing the limits of the law. It may be a mere coincidence collection of similar photographs that are pretending to be recorded footage. And it all gather towards and rules. Here, the far part moves between frames, doesn't it? Dr. Everett couldn't possibly have moved the plot there while holding down the shutter button. I don't see any difference. You hear the expression risen on the side is rather stiff. Maybe they're just a gloomy sort? Perhaps, yeah, observe closer. The stiffness arises not from movement, but from strain to maintain. Oh, if that's the case, maybe the site really was trying to fake an actual footage by moving very, very slowly. That's a pretty convincing theory, but I'm not sure if it's enough to conclude that we're in the clear yet. That's when Bamboo batted him, who had been trolling the ground since Zero Punch stepped into conversation. Let's see. Look at the shadow cast on the windowsill. I saw black. See if noticeably shifts. See how it noticeably shifts between each frame? Whoever made this knows their craft for sure, but I can't imagine a backstreet dweller would have any way to mess with the sun's trajectory. Top of the morning. Yeah, it's just past midnight here. What? Then the likely scenario must be that the creator of this film rolled deliberately made its subject move very slowly from frame to frame, creating a series of disconnected photos that, when played secretly, would look like a footage that violates taboo. In which case, the roll does not violate this taboo. Correct? That is highly probable. So he says, Executive Manager, we should be clear for now in regards to aiding the violation of a week's taboo. But if he was willing to go through this much trouble to test NCORP's patience, it's hard to believe that he'd stop there. Based on all available evidence, Executive Manager, it seems reasonable to conclude that the inflection point of this case is the taboo violator on the run. No, but what more would they have to do that? You're working for a wing subsidiary. It has nothing on being an actual wing employee, but it's still pretty up there when it comes to careers available in the backstreets. Work for a subsidiary long enough, and you might get transferred to a factory job in NASA. Gives you a pretty good chance for a better life. So maybe we're just tired of living that kind of life. Everyone has those kind of days, don't they? They kind of feeling when you could be doing more than live the rest of your life in 9-to-5 hell, but try to do something that takes you away from the pressure of trying to make a life. Something about Ishmael's said must have tickled Bamboo Head Kim, because he suddenly whipped around towards her and looked and said, maybe, but how many of those people do you think are capable of throwing away everything they built on a whim? For I've seen, maybe our culprit just likes to play with fire. Play with fire? Yeah. They must have started by doing something that technically doesn't count as taboo and inched on until he brought thrillingly close to one thrilling shot with his camera and another with the next, till eventually ended up recording actual footage. So that leaves the question, what the heck was he trying to do with it? Might have been trying to screen it using a projector for all sorts of pilots backstreets to see. What? But wouldn't that make everyone, even those who unwillingly came across the projector? Right on. Would it make those folks violators of the taboo? But why would anyone... So, would you care to explain how you know that, Mr. Braithwaite? I asked around on the opposite street, and apparently some guy's been going around asking the workshops if they could make him a projector. Seemed like most of them turned him down, but they also said they stopped showing up after a certain point. Fair to guess they got his hands a projector somehow. Alas, this is not a taboo of NCORP to receive recorded videos. Pray tell, why would anyone... Well, it ain't taboo if you only made a projector in it. Factory blokes down for anything as long as there's a coin. So how do we track this guy down? Multiple individuals in the same guard as apparently have been identified in the city. They are all carrying the same briefcase. Oh well, isn't that convenient? Maybe we can play this like a festival or convention and just tell people who look like they're involved with what we're looking for, so lead us wherever we need to go. Indeed, at architecture conventions, there would be there would be those in formal plaid shirts and suppliers milling about. I can always trust them to lead me to the convention venue. And it was common for the plaid shirts to look around like they're scanning the area, but they also go around checking people against photographs. Collect evidence. Please advise for. They also radioed each other, glaring at people like they're glaring at. Perhaps you could answer that series of queries yourself. Nope, this crowd sure don't look like they're gonna tell us. Let's follow them. Yeah, I don't think they're friends. I think they do not like us.
카론, 기다리는 거 못해.
Okay.
기다려줄게.
Could you not fail?
가속 펀치!
So hopefully you are doing fine.
이거 분강 맞지? 아니었던 것 같긴 한데 아무튼 슬램!
육참.
승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
필연적! 절대적!
소리와 호흡을 멈추고
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어.
지령대로 움직일 뿐입니다.
적들이 흔들흔들. 기회 아냐?
벤다면 사활을 건.
충족. 지령이
약직 보강 완료.
Oh wait, they have what? Inflict what?
이 패턴은
이연 하나
되겠냐고요.
Can I take a look at that?
카론이 안전벨트
Where are you?
잘하라고 있잖아.
Kidding now. Huh. Wonder if that's interesting.
시연합니다.
So they have a different nail. It works with tremor to cause bleed.
대성공이야.
I
카론,
wonder if that's what Incorp will go to with anything new we get.
무아몽중
우와. 카론도 깜짝.
예측할 수 없게.
다섯
수행되었습니다. 대전!
아비규환
내 피가 배고파했어. 잘됐다. 그치?
그대는 어디까지 각오했을지 일곱 앞으로 둘
그냥 5배!
I should see what that photograph thing does.
숨을 거두리라.
수행되었습니다. 굳이 직접 목격하지 않아도 느낄 수 있겠죠.
우와, 칼음도
Where? Photographing chisels good when using a skill. There's power negative hives. Interesting.
포위망 구축.
아홉째 완료.
수행되었습니다.
정해진
굳이 직접
운명이라네.
목격하지 않아도 느낄 수 있겠죠.
승부수가 먹혀들었군. 판세는 완벽히 우리에게 있었다. 정체를
so-
찾을 때까지 이 기세를
We're a little over halfway now. Pursuit, huh?
에고 침식도
Huh?
양호. 아마도
Hello.
리피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
Okay, you.
그래. 이번 전투를 잘
I don't think I can change who they're fighting.
삐리리 빵!
약직 보강 완료.
무아몽중.
적들이 흔들흔들. 기회 아니야?
그대는 어디까지 각오했을지.
하나, 둘, 핫!
Nope. Well, I haven't seen him lose a.
검문 확보.
필연적! 절대적!
승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어. 내 피가 배고파했어.
예측할 수
잘됐다.
없게!
그치?
셋째.
대전! 나부터 상대해야 할걸?
육참.
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어.
오롯한 검의 길에
결정,
한 걸음
해금,
가까이.
초월
내 피가
지령에게 불확실한
배고파했어.
것은 없네.
잘됐다. 그치?
지령에 따라 참격. 지령이 이끄는 대로.
운명적인 죽음일세.
망을 참아. 숨을 거두리라.
대성공이야. 가름
그냥
신나.
가서
노래 부를까?
이거 분강 맞지? 야! 필살! 바이올렛 브레이크 슬램!
이게 심장이
지령대로 움직일 뿐입니다.
잠깐 저릿했기에
우와. 가름도 깜짝.
예측할 수 없게!
여섯째
헛! 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 야! 헛! 하!
소리와 호흡을 멈추고
지령의 뜻이니 유감은 없으시게. 지령대로 움직일 뿐입니다.
야호.
I don't think you like that person.
참으로.
일곱 앞으로 둘
운명적인 죽음일세. 진짜.
지령대로 움직일 뿐입니다.
우와. 가름도 깜짝.
그대는 어디까지 각오했을지
Oh, let's press the picture, isn't it?
가속!
지령대로 움직일 뿐입니다.
딸아이도 이 상처를 기억할지
Let's switch the Ishmael one.
승부수가 먹혀들었군. 판세는 완벽히 우리에게 있었다. 정착지를 찾을 때까지 이
Oh,
기세를
there's a new thing.
오케이. 이럴 것 같아서 대기하고 있었지.
화점에 두지.
대상 확인했어 대상
지령을 받았습니다.
Mm,
가시죠. 화투패.
부름이다.
전시 중
자유로. 복지
서두르지 말고
there we go.
느긋하고 여유롭게
Hardly a channel. What a waste of time. Phew, well, at least there's not much of a fighter one-on-one. Service declares there's not a combat specialist department. Well, they have all on the gun basic combat training for exigent circumstances. They're not prepared for head-on conflict such as this. Yeah, I noticed. They kept taking pictures off with their briefcase. I'm guessing that's their primary job description. What are they snapping away for? Whispering behind our backs with the little creeps? Collecting photos, including the report for the higher-up, I'd wager. I can't see how they could think we're involved in this somehow. Every time they follow the lead, they end up encountering us. Hardly surprised. We shot stood a footstep away from the rest of the citizens and watched in silence as they tried to come up with an explanation. What is he thinking? What is it he wishes to say, or is he simply contemplating? Observing without any preconceived notions in his mind. His silence shouldn't have been different from his usual rhythms, but But as though by some chance over whim, came your salt. I struck with a sense of brief yet distinct strangeness that was compelled to speak with him. Yes, manager. Don't hesitate to let me know if there's something you want to say, but aren't sure if you're supposed to say. Yes, manager. I will do as you ordered should one such circumstance occur. As always, his reply was deflatingly concise and direct. So he had some rule of his own that told him he was the specific response for a situation like this. Okay, but I'm talking about right now, actually. You have anything to say right now? No, I do not. It did not appear to me that he was trying to hide or anything or choosing words in response to our question. He replied with a simple answer. Nothing more. Yes, the report's answer written down on the list of responses. That's what it felt like to me, as though this particular answer had always been the one he had available for situations like this. Clearly, probably in parameters wasn't going to get me anywhere, so with the curt sure, if you say so, I turned away from him and took off to join the other sinners. As I did so, a few words lingered at the tip of my verbal tongue, asking to be let out, so I did. Would have been nice to know what you're looking at. Of that, I can't form a judgment. What? That's because the precise definition and nature of the subject of my gaze are just as unknown to me as to you. Should you point into an object or an enemy, I can provide a verbal explanation based on my current knowledge. If you require such information, please rephrase your question accordingly. I asked him again then, had I tried to get the bottom of the line of questioning, I found myself the smallest peak in the Mersault psyche, which had remained entirely shrouded in mystery even an entire year after traveling together. I suppose that's not for me to judge as well. Manager? Yeah. Another battle is imminent. As you have precisely instructed, I inform you of an imminent battle. Clock Glass, are you just going to sit there all day while we do all the fighting? You're pouring out of that building over there. So they must have been on their way to that building. Our lead ahead comes clear, exactly. Less nutritious food than hate. Gotcha, I'll be right there. I'm battling enemies who are right precisely at the time we made our way into the building. Well, those blows we fought downstairs must have been the weaker ones of the bunch. How does Anchor have so many guys on the payroll? There's no end to them. Ah, it is a wing after all. At least the taboo guys? I thought the corporate worked alone. No, I'm quite certain they're the ones from the subsequent reports. The incorporation appeared that just as confused as we are. It was clear to me that they were expecting to find taboo guys here, not a group of dozen or so. What were they thinking? Sending fire like us to deal with an organized taboo violation. They should have sent taboo hunters here instead. Why do you think they told us? Because kind of experience containing mass melee combat. They must have thought we're supposed to deal with this. I don't know that. Wait, wasn't that an extra report? That's one of them. That all of a sudden, with a click, the room began to buzz with the heckware of some kind of machinery. Immediately, I could tell what it was. Distortion. Standing in the middle of the shadowy room was a device I wasn't sure I'd seen before. That's a projector. The exterior was plastered in strange shapes, and look, everyone saw the faces, and they were making it difficult to grasp its full shape. Around was fixed began to rotate slowly, but all worn out, grown past its prime. Man, shield your eyes. The moment began to manifest. Those thundering kind of voice. Billy, turn away and make sure not to keep leaving a lens. The device should be playing a recorded video, executive manager. You have a brief look at what could constitute a taboo violation. Shit. That's how that. I'm so finished. Just as big on creeping voices, unlucky individuals. Oh man, folks, this is starting to get a little embarrassing. A sleepy voice breaks through the darkness past my mouth for speaking shut eyes. Mentor. Eyes opening, dude. What's wrong with everyone? Got dust in your eyes? What's wrong with you? Don't you know that anyone who watches, even for a split second recorded video, get... Of course I know, but I watched it anyway. Open your eyes, it seems. The motion picture isn't recorded. Yeah, he's right. The video's not recording. Possibly emboldened by Kim's command, there are several... The cover is also opening in the mind of that thing talking to us. I finally allowed myself to look at the machine, which had been conical beams straight as well, and this was mentioned there would be white lines on the black. So, you've tracked me down this far. After what I went through to take refuge here, they still ended up finding this place. All of you blindly consuming fake experience after fake experience without even caring about the real thing. Case number TC 3224. You are under suspicion of 3 violation. Reveal yourself now and forfeit your illegal recordings. Should you comply, we will. What is this foolery about witnessing buffoonery in the absence of fools? That hollow vessel bred of all lingering delusions grants not even the rule of echo to the dogged extrication of tools. What's this fellow on about? If you mean to obstruct our brother, we won't have to use force. Not even so much as turning bamboo raised his heart and parried away the... I'm only speaking as my whim guides me, my dear fellows. No need to get so huffy. I only aim to say that this abomination has no consciousness. After what I went through to take refuge here, they still end up finding this place. All of you blind and consuming fake experience has to even care about a real thing. Keeps repeating the same sentence over and over. Now that does make it wrong. Was I just as far gone when I asserted past all words and reason? I mean, if anyone hasn't answered the question, it might be you folks, right? Tim said nothing, but he turned a piercing look on us all looks the way they went. As though he was goading us and telling him the truth. Well, I don't suppose there's any point in asking. I'm no different from this abomination. Just as it wields that contraption, I have wielded the only thing I've known, double A, transforming a mindless being consumed by a mere tool, leading me through both friend and foe unrestrained. Hey, Drew, are you still on about that? I tried to avert my eyes, I truly did, but such disregard is easier said than done. How can I, when that distorted being has no qualms of showing me the... Doesn't he know how rude the sizzle reflecting his path into one heart? That's got to be illegal or something. Illegal. Turning a customer into a thug on a protection racket run. A mere ant before a car in motion to a swerving driver. Conjuring dead followers before the eyes of their mentor. Simply unconscionable. Rude as hell, as some might say. My poor heart almost burst out of my chest, courtesy of you. All of you blind, consuming fake experience out of fake experience, even though... In that split second, I think Mersault's eyebrows twitch. The battle is imminent, Magic. That's a natural response to sensing an imminent battle, perhaps? A blinding flash, followed by something vision immediately went white, and when it did, the first thing that came to the first view, and so followed by bamboo surrounded by a small army of... Enter. Keep that up and you'll shot yourself dead, Isn't it about time we grew accustomed to such sights? Mentor, do I wake from these dreams, drenched in cold sweat? Then, by and drag you away. This isn't so bad. Just these folks so far, unlike earlier, when another flash. What was that? Everything went dark. I don't understand what's happening, but first things first, we have to news everyone here and get our mission back on track. Adjusting projection. Sigh. I've been standing far and wondering all day for this exact reason, and... So, that was its mechanism. Lost. Word began to shift rapidly as a chance upon it. To the one that finds comfort settling in lies, I give you what deserves your greatness. Bollocks. I'll be blind before today's over at this rate. Changed? Did? Unlike the earlier instance, one of the stories is different from the others. There was something different about the group of children this time. They were way accompanied by someone else. A warrior, impressive honor, wielding sword that was just as tall. That arm around the great condo of the Sol Circle. To be reunited in such a manner, the warrior drew a bow that hung from the waistband, knocked an arrow. I suppose this is how it would have gone down had you been the one to grab me. Military Commissioner M. Gyang, how are you? Fair. How do you fare it? At the signal, Aries loosing seized the accused. The warrior loosened the arrow, which soared in the sky with a piercing whistle. With that airplane inside, the signal swarmed up. Okay. That's weird.
적들이 뭔가 기분이 좋아 보이는 것 같아. 칼은 기분 나빠.
지령에 따라 참격.
검문 확보.
나부터 상대해야 할걸? 승객들, 뭔가 기분 좋은 일이라도 있었던 거야? 예측할 수 없게!
망을 참아. 숨을 거두리라.
승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어. 필연적! 절대적!
전술
적들이
시야 전
흔들흔들. 기회
오젝트의 눈.
아니야?
포위망 구축.
대전 그릴! 대성공이야. 칼은 신나.
Oh.
노래 부를까?
사물. 앵화.
결정.
Well, at least she cleared her thing.
우와,
지령에게 불확실한
칼은 또
것은 없네.
깜짝.
Okay, that is a bit different.
소리와 호흡을 멈추고
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어.
참았어.
지령의 뜻이니 유감은 없으시게.
It does explain some things.
우와, 칼은도 깜짝.
포위망 구축.
달빛이 밝다는데
이 전투는 승리할 거예요.
사물. 앵화.
분량 5배! 늦으면 메피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
지령에 따라 참격. 충족.
진짜. 격발.
미래를 과거와 같이.
전술
늦으면
시야 전.
내피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
오제트의 눈으로.
No, I don't. That.
포위망 구축. 억제 성공. 진짜. 격발.
가속 펀치!
6천.
소리와 호흡을 멈추고
카론, 기다리는 거 못해. 100초만 기다려줄게.
그대는 어디까지 각오했을지.
하나, 둘, 확산!
여섯째.
모든 결과들은 파우스트가 알아요.
헛! 3코.
아비 교환.
늦으면 내피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
시연합니다.
여덟. 앞으로 하나.
잠시. 아직 5번 더 갈라야만 합니다.
딸아이도 이 상처를 기억하고 있으면
우와.
좋겠구려.
카론도 깜짝.
뺀다면 사활을 건다.
검문 확보. 이어 단단히 포기하지 마시게.
우와, 카론도 깜짝.
포위망 구축.
잠시. 아직 5번 더 갈라야만 합니다.
운명적인 죽음.
지령대로 움직일 뿐입니다.
우와, 카론도 깜짝.
지령에 따라 참격.
그냥 5배!
망을 쳐먹. 숨을 거두리라.
아홉째 완료.
이 전투는 승리할 거예요. 지령대로
뜻을
움직일 뿐입니다.
해금하겠네.
A little more, I think I might be able to smash the dang thing in this race, but it was really hard to focus one thing on the huge warrior zapping in and out of reality as soon as we make ourselves an opening. Make our highlight over if we could just get just one of them. Bell seems to be taking a lot of toll on Sarah's more than usual. And it wasn't that we were up against an immovable foe, not even close, not to mention how Ursa and they knew were here to help us out, but shit, haven't they had enough? About time they give up, isn't it? Oh, wait, don't you go letting it again. The big demon started carrying faster, just kicking our butts, but I don't know if he's solving the distortion. We ain't exactly flushed with options, are we? Our exit's blocked, it ain't like we can stop mid-fight to strategize. Well, constantly shifting and flashing between N-Corp and S-Corp, we simply did not have the breathing room to focus on either the projector and who was swinging that great blade with their sight. Besides, you go cover his back too. I shall. We're sending far too many people against us. Weren't that many at first, but it seemed like the sudden spike in employee casualties close to the nest had alerted N-Corp to our location. How did this get? Boss, Opus, help me out here. Decided to stop racking my brain to navigate decisions and instead rely on the series of possible experiences. First, I need to know if there's any way we can deal with the endless reinforcements N-Corp is sending after us. And second, we'll continue on destroying that pure bringing it into this distortion phenomenon. But I may speak freely, and it's unlikely that our present force will be sufficient to overcome the current rate of enemy reinforcements. Not only is this battlefield situated in close proximity to the enemy stronghold, but there is a unpredictable variable in the strange regime that make neutralizing every single wave of enemy difficult. A great debate the bearer of bad news, but we're trapped in a battlefield with a single exit, with that means that have already blocked our and there's a little hope of prevailing through this current. Yeah, it seems that way to me, but maybe if we can neutralize the origin at the very least. Lost. Recommends entering the Dungeon of Fathoms out of their exit. Dungeon of Fathom? But how can we... We can't talk to the distortion. Wait, maybe. During LC... Back at the LCE, he says that all you have to do is read what's on the node in front of the distortion. Apparently it's like some kind of code. Right, keywords. The one seems to be the location regardless of where the bright flashes take us, and we're still within its range, in other words, so as long as I have the right keywords, I can... So it's Dungeon of Fathom for mine within it. Okay, so what are keywords for distortion then? That's the keywords for his distortion, but this time we have to figure out. First, things first. One of them has to be photographed. How they've been present throughout the entire phenomenon. It may be, perhaps experience may be one of them. But in a sense, briefly retreated from the battle of the dragon. There's an undercurrent of obsession with experiences straining his every trail, and must a lot in relation to what has caused this distortion. Experience, the concept alone lacks substance. Might be something more grounded, and something that has once synonymous with experience. While maintaining a through line to N-Corp's technology was the core of his obsession. Canned experience? Was likely thought. Alright then, photograph, hand experience, not seems to inspire us yet. It did, but I couldn't feel it. Are these the kinds of others that you... That's the strange convention was. Mentioning the word shook the distortion and caused a rippling effect. It was not nearly enough to force open the dungeon of fathoms. How many other keywords could there be? Scraps. Oh, I thought we were talking about turn sharing what might have caused him to distort. And going by the way you folks are saying your piece one after, I thought it might be some sort of Zen riddle. Not a Zen riddle, but more like scraps come from. See, when enjoying the benefits of sucking off work, all kind of mundanities come to business, far more interesting qualities. Sometimes even revealing secrets invisible to eyes focused elsewhere. Take our person of interest to wit. He has been poking around this area of town with an eye-watering expensive camera in tow, so suspiciously that every store owner I'd flatly prod for information had tales to tell about him. Each tale added another facet to the long saga of once-driven man, a man with a can-do attitude, and the canny ability to pull himself up from his bootstraps and clear a path towards Nest residence, who became so bewitched by photography that he eventually squandered his fortune on what was, in the end, nothing more than a pastime. And what went on until he found himself reduced to a pauper, barely making rent on a scrap heap of an apartment, in pursuit of his ideal. The man had lost grip of fortune and reality. I saw his apartment and found a new scrap of his writing. When cold drained rips through the roof, when mold intrepid humanity gather and crush from the earth, the myth begins to wander lost. Eventually, madness is evoked in form from indistinguishable from drunkenness. The pauper loses himself. A shadow darker than any I had seen in Canada crept beneath the shade of his eyes. No, I had seen that look once in the past. Though it would be more apt to say that I heard it in his voice and echoed his fathoms, distorted by guilt and regret. Perhaps I shouldn't be surprised by the fact that the distortion has, among the countless people taken here, been a particular interest in Bamboo Head Kim. In scraps. Now concerning a single piece of the puzzle, the space before us momentarily warped and flashed, opening pathway to the source. Well then, we'll be right behind you, Executive Manager. Is that right? This is what I had seen in the gateway to one's fathoms. Huh? This is it, huh? Neat stuff. But, worse you can finish after had the reactor focus on the discussion back at the battle. Most of the sinners were caught in the same predicament. Some managed to disengage from the battle and prepare to enter the distortion fathom. Who we're still holding off Encore from place. No, they're not gonna follow us right in there if we run now, right? Huh, probably. So those who aren't chained to Dante, like we have to travel through the passway when it's open. So yeah, let's not ourselves into an even narrower corner. I'll keep them at bay. You're gonna have to but my sword's arm's not what it once was, but it should be enough for this. Besides, I have a little wish to set foot in some home place entangled with the bizarre mess. Is that really what he thinks? There's something in his eyes that let me believe this was more about just staying behind to protect our rear. He was. What the fuck? Eh? What a terrible front. At least try to pretend to be sincere and make it easy for us to believe. Do you think that terrible excuse was going to fly? Or are you trying to avoid swords when you're not some kid trying to get out of this homework? I remember hearing that entering this will bring one to the spiritual fathoms the distortion is gazing into. And what lies within must be my very own for what the abomination is getting into. It's that then, you're coming with us. We have about to walk into a blind space we know shit about, but ain't got us in there yet. Oh, that. He keeps it simple. You try that too. Learn the hard way that homework, like summer reading, doesn't go away just because you don't look at it. It's still there, even as summer break comes to an end. Running the last day of your vacation into an all-nighter. Ariazi scabbard vibrate. Stop procrastinating. Go do your summer reading. That's what it said. Face your homework. Save the GPA. Face the SID. Save the ego. It is, after all that, the company expects of it. Go, Junior. You guys too. LCB can handle them all the way. You will take a lone stand? Hey, who the heck do you think I am, huh? I'll show you why team leader mode felt safe standing me out alone with you guys. It was basically a monster of the week situation in the team leader and me back in our dealer days. I can handle them on my own, no problem. I wanted to see how you guys handled the inflection point, but I guess you can never really have it all. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to trust our two Osier new babies handle that. Now that I think of it, I think I'm getting a pretty solid example, setting a pretty solid example as a team senior, aren't I? I don't like this, but it seems like I have no choice in the matter as long as this employee card hangs from my chest. With a sigh, Kim shook his head and joined us, dragging his feet all the while. I shall take the vanguard. Oh, meant there, be warned that the entrance is flowing. Please stick over, you may trip. I can clearly see that hung. Bring me a ladder if you're really that worried, won't you? Have you need for one? A mere jest, you damn worry. Okay. I guess I was wondering about that. I guess I was like, how many times do I have to punch the thing in the face? I thought I was gonna...
승부수가 먹혀들었군.
Okay.
판세는 완벽히 우리에게 있어.
And this is the fathom, which will probably be the end of the
이 기세를 잃지 않기를.
check rewards. I'm not there yet. There's a lot to get, though. Okay, I'm tired.
뒷골
So I will stop here for now, and I'll probably come back to this likely Tuesday. So, thanks for coming by. Have a good day or night or wherever you are, and I will see you again probably tomorrow if you come and watch. Have a good day and night and everything. Yeah. Bye bye.